The knock beneath the floorboards. You ever buy something that just feels wrong from the start? Like the air around it's been holding its breath too long? That's how it was when I bought the old Miller house. Nothing fancy. One story, peeling paint, front porch that sagged like an old man's smile. I told myself it was a fixer-upper, my fresh start after the divorce. The neighbors smiled a little too politely when I moved in. "Hope you sleep through the nights," one of them said. I laughed, thought it was a joke. But that first night, I heard it. Knock, soft, from beneath the floorboards. I told myself it was pipes or the house settling. But deep down, I knew it wasn't. Days passed and I threw myself into repairs, painting, sanding, pretending not to notice that the house listened. When I hammered a nail, I could almost feel it wince. When I turned off the lights, I could swear I heard something moving underfoot, slow, deliberate, like breath under wood. One evening, as twilight leaked through the curtains, I sat with a beer and the sound started again. Knock, pause, knock. 3 slow beats like a message. It came from the same spot, under the living room rug. I stared at that patch of floor until the beer went warm in my hand. Maybe it was an animal, I told myself, a raccoon or a rat nest. But even then, there was rhythm, something intentional. And for the first time, I realized the house wasn't empty. It was waiting for me to listen. The knocks kept coming, same time every night, 2:43 a.m. Always 3 of them, steady, patient. I tried ignoring it, earplugs, music, whiskey. But the sound found me anyway, worming through the silence, humming under my skin. So I recorded it, left my phone on the coffee table, mic pointed toward the floor. When I played it back the next morning, the room filled with a faint hiss, then a whisper. A child's voice, thin as paper. "Down here." My stomach turned to stone. It wasn't just the voice, it was how close it sounded. Not like it came from under the floor, but beneath me, inches from my feet. That's when I started tearing up the boards. Dust filled the air, the kind that tastes like time. I pried, hammered, cursed, until the wood gave way with a groan. There it was, a box. Small, wooden, nailed shut, stained dark with something that wasn't age. I hesitated for all of 3 seconds. Curiosity has a way of feeling righteous right before it ruins you. Inside, a single child's shoe, scuffed and tiny. A photograph, edges singed, faces blurred by fire and years. And a note in careful, spidery letters. "Don't listen to the knocking." That should have been my cue. Close it, seal it, move out. But I couldn't because now the knocking had a pattern. It followed me. To the kitchen, the bedroom, even the shower. Sometimes it wasn't beneath the floor. Sometimes it was inside the walls. I started seeing things in the corner of my eye. A flicker, like someone ducking out of sight. My reflection lagged a second too long in the bathroom mirror. Sleep stopped coming. Food tasted like cardboard. Every sound in that house, the creak of a beam, the groan of the pipes, felt like a voice trying to form words. And through it all, that whisper, clearer every night, "Down here." I told myself I was losing my mind. But when I pressed my ear to the open floor that night, I heard something that made me believe otherwise. Something breathing back. The next night, I waited. No lights, no sound, just me, the dark, and the floor beneath my feet. I sat cross-legged on the splintered boards, flashlight off, heart ticking louder than the old grandfather clock down the hall. The air felt thick, heavy, like the house was crouched over me, listening. At 2:43 a.m., right on cue, it came. Knock, pause, knock, knock. Only this time I didn't flinch. I raised my hand, and I knocked back. 3 times. The silence afterward was alive. Then thud, it came from behind me. Not the floor, the wall. I turned slowly, every hair on my neck standing at attention. Another thud, harder. Plaster cracked in a thin white vein across the wallpaper. And through that split, the voice came, no longer a whisper. Clear, cold, right in my ear. "Let me out." The flashlight trembled in my hand as I aimed it at the wall. The crack widened, boards bending inward, like something was pushing from the other side. A draft blew through, cold as a grave. Then, a hand. Small, pale, fingers like chalk, nails rimmed with black dirt. It groped the air, searching. When it touched the floor, the boards beneath me sighed, like they were exhaling after years of holding something in. I wanted to run. God, I wanted to run, but I couldn't. Because behind that hand came the rest of it. A child's face, waxy and colorless, eyes too wide, too knowing. The mouth open, trembling, trying to speak. And that's when I saw the photo again, the burned one. The faint outline of a boy standing next to the old Miller house. The same boy. He looked right at me. "You shouldn't have listened," he said. The floorboards split down the middle, and the sound that came up wasn't just knocking anymore. It was screaming. The house roared like it was alive, like it had lungs, dragging the air from my throat. I tried to stand, but the boards gave way, splintering beneath my feet, and then I was falling, down, into the dark that had been waiting all along. Everything looked too normal. The wall, smooth, white, whole again. No crack, no hole, no sign that a child's hand had ever reached through the plaster. Just the faint scent of damp wood and old dust, the kind that clings to your skin long after you've left the room. I stumbled into the kitchen, barefoot, lightheaded, and there it was, the photo, the one I'd left inside the box. It sat in the middle of the table, edges curling like it had been scorched again during the night. Only now, there was something new about it. The burned outline of the boy wasn't blurred anymore. He was clear, sharp, eyes staring right into the lens, and behind him, me, standing in the window of the Miller house. The neighbors stopped by later, offering muffins, gossip, polite curiosity. Said the place looked different, brighter, one of them remarked, like it finally got some air. I smiled, lied through my teeth, told them I just finished some late-night repairs. They laughed, none the wiser, though one woman paused on the porch. She tilted her head, listening. "You hear that?" she asked. I froze, but she just shrugged it off. Must be the wind. When they left, I sat alone at the table, staring at the photo, trying to convince myself it was over. That what I'd seen, what I'd touched, was just exhaustion, grief, madness. But as dusk fell, the quiet in the house felt too still, like the calm that comes after someone stops screaming. I pressed my hand against the floorboards, warm, alive, and from deep below, so faint it could have been a trick of memory, came the sound I'd been waiting for. Not a knock this time, just a single, drawn-out breath. In, out. The house was exhaling. I whispered to no one, "It's okay, you're free now." But when I lifted my hand, I saw fingerprints pressed into the wood, smaller than mine, fresh. And then for just a moment, I could have sworn I heard a voice behind me say, "Your turn." I told the house a month later, didn't mention the box, the whispering, or the small hand that broke through the wall. Didn't tell them about the nights that stretched on like open wounds. I just handed over the keys, smiled like a man who'd finally found peace, and wished them luck. For the first time in weeks, I slept somewhere that didn't breathe. A clean apartment, bare walls, no history, no ghosts, I thought, just quiet. But quiet is dangerous. Quiet gives space for memory, and memory, it likes to crawl. Still, I started to feel normal again. Coffee in the mornings, work during the day, a life that didn't hum beneath the floorboards until last night, 2:43 a.m. That number again, carved into my nerves. I woke without knowing why, the way a deer freezes before it hears the gunshot. The moonlight stretched across the floor like a blade. I listened. For a moment, there was only the buzz of the refrigerator, the faint tick of the clock. Then, knock, 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 soft, steady, from beneath the bed. My throat went dry. It wasn't the sound that terrified me. It was the recognition, that same rhythm, that same patient waiting. I whispered no, because I knew what it wanted, not to scare me, to be heard. The air under the bed shifted, warm and damp like breath. And from the darkness, I heard it again, the voice I'll never forget, a child's whisper, almost kind, "Your turn." Now I don't sleep much. I keep the lights on, my feet off the floor, but the knocking still comes, sometimes from the floor, sometimes from the walls, and lately, from inside the closet door. Maybe the Miller house didn't want to keep me. Maybe it just wanted to follow. And if you're listening to this now, if you hear 3 soft knocks tonight, whatever you do, don't knock back. If you made it this far, thank you for listening to The Knock Beneath the Floorboards. If you enjoyed the story, please hit the like button. It really helps the channel grow and keep stories like this alive. Make sure to subscribe for daily chills and eerie tales, and share this video with someone who loves a good scare. There's another video waiting for you right on your screen. Go give it a listen. And I'll see you tomorrow night.